Roughly behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, where's your costume? Saving it for tomorrow.
Here.
You can have some vampire teeth.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Alright,
Yeah.
you can go ahead.
All right. Perfect. All right, everybody, welcome to our Halloween Trick or Treat Thursday training. A couple of things to go over before we start. All right, so on the agenda today, we're going to welcome a bunch of our new team members. We kind of haven't met for a while, so we're going to have a ton of people to introduce. And then we're just going to go through upcoming events. We have a lot going on in the next couple of months before the end of the year. Then we'll say hi to Teresa, who was awesome enough to join us today for this training, and she'll get into some spooky tales and true stories of insurance going way wrong and how to avoid that in the future. And then we'll end the training with some spooky trivia and then a costume contest with all of our sick costumes today. So what we have going on the next couple of months, in about 2 weeks, we have our bunch of our team members from New Jersey are doing a Rocky Realtors run. So it's like 13 miles. I think it starts at the Art Museum. Really huge Philly event. So if anyone wants to get involved or be there to support the team, you can reach out to Brittany or Gretchen for any questions.
5 here, my daughter.
Yeah, well, that's contributing to the 13 miles.
It's 5, it's 3 miles, 10 miles, and then combined you can do both as 13.1 miles.
Yeah,
So I'm doing the 5K, not the 10 miles.
that still counts. That's still
Last year,
counts. Okay.
roughly.
And then in 2 weeks, we have Photos with Santa that's coming a little early this year. That's going to be at City View on Saturday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We really encourage everyone to come and invite all your past clients, friends. It's going to be a really fun day. Me and Jane are going to dress up as elves to help out our Santa. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And you can just book your time slot to join us at the link below. That we have shared with you, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and Jane directly.
Lila, would you be there for November 15th?
Oh, sure. Just put it on the calendar.
It'll be a lot of fun. And then KW Empower is doing a potluck the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. It'll be like their last November monthly meeting, followed with a potluck and vendor fairs. That's going to be a lot of fun. The RSVP link is below. And then we are having our career night on November 20th. It's going to be a Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. That's also going to be a lot of fun. We welcome everyone to come, any new recruits that you want to bring. There will be an agent recruiting incentive that is right here below. And then we've also sent out a graphic that has more information on it as well. And you can RSVP and again, reach out to me and Jane directly for any details and to RSVP as well with any recruits. And then 2 more events. We have the fun Keller Williams annual Christmas party. That's Thursday, December 11th from 7 to 10. That'll be super, super fun. And you can RSVP at the link as well.
Guys, we spend over $100 a person at the party.
Yeah.
So it's a great event. It's everybody should RSVP. If you're spending money for everyone anyways. There's no reason in my mind that anybody should be missing that. It's gonna be an awesome event. We all can get together. And great location. You know the location where it's happening?
Switch House.
It's right next to, it's the wedding venue that's next to the Ballers where we were there for.
Oh, amazing.
Also, there's a big new wedding venue, that's where it's gonna be on it.
Sweet.
That year was really fun.
Yeah, I missed last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Last year was fun.
Yeah. Seems a lot of fun.
There's no reason to miss it, guys. You should definitely plan in advance.
We can dress up. Yeah, we can all dress up.
1+1. Because it's an expensive event, so it's only for licensed agents and the team members.
Yeah, it'll be super fun. So we all should go. And then the last event is a holiday toy drive in collaboration with CHOP, which I believe actually Lila is leading. Our team goal is to fundraise $2,000. Obviously, more would be even better. You can donate at the link. And yeah, reach out to Lila or me and Jane with any questions at all. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also a way to have the tools, you just refer them to like. The page, you can see it, but I will say that I'm sorry, donations, and the reason that this is important to me was just to get behind something for the holidays instead of doing.
Yeah.
You know, the Pollyanna or something like that, let's give it to the people.
Yeah, love it.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. And then we are going to introduce our team members that really aren't so new anymore, but we want to give them the recognition they deserve. So Michael Price, Joseph Kantz, Madison, Earl, Vlad.
Glad we was there pretty fast.
Oh, I met Madison the other day, she was in the office.
Yeah, Madison's the best. Gershom, Elaine, we have Dan, Aja, Mary, Ava, and then Amy and Michelle is joining us today. And then Teresa, the floor is all yours if you want to introduce yourself and then kind of just get into the training.
Hi all, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. Happy Halloween. Awesome costumes. Some of you know me from many decades and moons ago. But I guess we'll start with like these horrors. My most worst one was at another title company, Goroff, you know, where I used to work. So we had a wire issue, and back then they didn't do the wire fraud type, you know, people didn't care. This guy was buying a house for like 1 million. He was a trust fund baby, thankfully on his part. He got my wire instructions secure, but he didn't verify them with me. And what happened was someone hacked his computer, changed my wire instructions, and now that person is $600,000 richer. And if it wasn't for his father, he would not be buying that house. But the man lost 600 grand. There's nothing you could do after a wire fraud. That is like the worst thing in the world. I mean, day of closing, we have nothing. The money is just missing in somebody else's account. So like, that's the truest horror. Like that's a tear, crying constant. So that was like one issue that I had. Just a couple months ago, I had a Keller Williams deal, and the woman came to the table, and I thankfully was doing a notary. Her name was misspelled on the agreement of sale. One letter, like say for instance, her name was Harkins, but someone spelled it Hawkins on the agreement of sale. That one letter messed up everything. I quickly went to our exam and I said, I need you to run this name, search it, please. And it came up, she owed $115,000. There was a judgment against her from her mother, of all people. So thankfully, I was able to get that cleared up at the table and paid her mom and everything. But like that one little slip up on the agreement of sale, because if they're buying, we're going by what's on the agreement of sale. So that was like a nightmare and a half. And currently, I have a like we've been dealing with this file for a good month now. There was a trust within a deed, which is normal back in the 90s, 80s and 90s. They would put the trust in the deed. And there was no trust agreement, it was just written. But the attorney who prepared that deed, he apparently was disbarred for being a fraudulent attorney doing deeds and trusts. So that was a real good time. The guy died, and his son said, you know what, this is my property. And meanwhile, he has a sister. In the end, now, his sister and him own the property. They will not let the sister get anything because they're claiming this trust is real. But the attorney, yeah, he got a big fine and now he's not an attorney anymore. So I'm dealing with that mess. That's my ultimate nightmare. I mean, if you guys have any questions, I'm open. No.
We have to process that one.
Process all that in. That's like the old, I mean, I think every day's a nightmare in title and for you realtors.
Yeah, Teresa, I'll ask a couple of questions. Can you tell us what is the most common, what's the most common thing you see that realtors should be doing, but they don't do? That a little bit of education can make a closing smoother? Like, what is the most common thing that, one or two things that comes to your mind? You know,
The first thing that comes to my mind is the agreement of sale. So that's the biggest. Like I was saying with that woman with her misspelling of the name, a lot of times the agents will look on, like for Philadelphia, they'll look on the website and be like, oh, this is the person who owns it. Meanwhile, that person's dead. And they'll just put that dead person on there, and then the executor or the administrator is signing and for this dead person. We're like, wait a minute. And nobody, like, because you guys, if you are doing the buy side, you guys don't know much about the sell side. So copying off the website is not a good idea. It's better, like, or we'll come to the table and they're like, oh, I'm married. That's not my name. Like, that's like the biggest, that's a big hurdle to jump because of name misspellings.
would
We
you
have to
recommend,
run those names. One letter can mess up everything.
would you recommend that we reach out to the title company as we're drafting the agreement of sale? Or is it better just to do an addendum after, because you know, when you're in the momentum of getting things signed and reaching out to the title company, they have to do their search. We don't have 24 hours for the emotions to settle down. Like, we want the agreement to be signed ASAP. Can you just make an addendum fixing everything in the next paperwork?
That is, an addendum will fix everything. Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, if you guys do it that way, I'm like, oh my goodness, we don't have the right names. I suggest sending copies of people's driver's license, truly, because that's helpful. And then there's no hiccups. Like, I'm big on hiccups. I like it just to go smooth for everybody, because then those little tiny nuances really piss everybody off. Not the title company, but it'll piss your buyer, your seller off. It'll piss you guys off, because you got to deal with that mess. You know what I mean? So we want it to be smooth. But an addendum will fix everything. And a name is simple. If it's just a misspelling of name, yeah. But if someone's dead, yeah, that we gotta order estate docs and stuff like that.
Hey Teresa, it's Lila. I have a question.
Hi.
Hi, is it kind of tied up between the enhanced sale and a regular sale? Like, I've kind of always been told that with new construction, with title, you should do an enhanced sale, but what are your thoughts about when you should get an enhanced sale title policy instead of just a regular sale?
So in my opinion, if you're doing if you're buying a new construction, I always would recommend an enhanced sale, because that will give you mechanics lien coverage. So if any of the contractors that are building, that builder owes money to, we don't want issues for our buyer. That's the difference between an enhanced basic, in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot of more things, but that's the main thing, mechanics lien coverage. And we want that buyer to be protected.
I've seen people not buy new construction and opt to get that. Is there any advantage to that?
Their attorneys might have said something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also, they're like, hey, why not? It's only like $200 more.
Right.
You know what I mean? The only issue with that is we want to know if there's a lender, we want to know before we're working with the lender, because that's going to change all the figures. I've had people sit at the table, but you know what? I want an enhanced policy. And I'm like, that's a nightmare, because I'm like, your lender is not going to go for this. Or if they have a really cool lender, they'll fix that CD for you. You know what I mean? Like, snap. But there's some lenders are like, no, we need 3 days. You got to go through underwriting.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I suggest if there's like a new construction, you get an enhanced, or they call it a homeowner's policy, but that kind of confuses people with homeowners insurance.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I got a question. This is Vladimir.
Hey.
When dealing with an escrow.
Oh, thanks for your service, by the way. I saw your military.
No problem. Happy to do it. When dealing with an escrow, and I had an issue the other day. What's the best way to go about to like? Because I know I'll forget. I don't remember no more after we close. I won't remember about the escrow. What's probably the best way to keep track of that when we are and should be?
So escrows are awful. They're a nightmare. We don't like to do them, but I know that you guys, we don't like to hold escrow for non-title issues because I had a deal and it was actually comical to watch the back and forth between the buyer and the seller over an air conditioner. She was like, no, that's the thing. The buyer and seller have to sign that escrow release to release it. If it's a title issue, I make that decision. If it's a non-title issue, the buyer and seller need to make that decision. So, I mean, try to avoid an escrow as much as you can, because it is a nightmare, like truly.
In the case that I was dealing with, it was like two issues that I really never dealt with as much. It was an abatement that wasn't full abatement, a tax abatement that wasn't fully.
That's a title issue. So
Right.
we would monitor that.
Okay.
And we would say, for instance, the abatement, it took 6 weeks for OPA to say, okay, we approve this. Then we go online to see if there's any credits or whatnot. Then us as a title company would go and request for either a reimbursement. And then at that point, we would release the escrow to all parties. And then the buyer and seller would have to sign that agreement and say, okay, yes, this is all going back to the seller, or this is going to the buyer, or a portion of that. Title will maintain that. We will follow through with that escrow. You don't really even have to worry about it. It's like in the back of your mind.
With us, like, do we need to know anything about that at all, or?
Yes. Yes, so Chris, if I may add, my understanding is, unless, Teresa, did you say that unless it's a title issue, you will still hold escrow? For the HVAC situation, for repairs, would you hold escrow?
So if it's a non-title issue, it's usually like Byrne will make the determination, yeah, we can hold escrow, but it's half and half. Like if it's something like, oh, the railing isn't painted, like something dumb like that, please, it'd be like, handle that outside of the table. You know what I mean? Why are we gonna hold $500 for a painted railing? That's the nonsense. Because we can't follow that. Then that's gonna lay on you guys. Like we're not going to the house to see if they painted the railing. And that's like what I said with the air conditioner. I just sit back and watch until they're done fighting.
Okay.
So, our title company will make a choice one way or another, right?
I can't hear you.
Okay, hi. So our title company will make a choice one way or the other. I'm speaking to the class now as opposed to. Other title companies will not. Other title companies will just straight up say we do not hold escrow. So if we are on the listing side and it is a buyer transaction and they have chosen somebody else to represent them for title, there is a very good possibility that title company will say, hold escrow, we will not hold your escrow. So do not say Keller Williams will hold it. You need to have Carrie's approval for that. We also need to have an escrow agreement in place before we do that. Do not say that the buyer's title company will, or brokerage will hold it. They need an escrow letter. Their broker has to approve it. So we're not making any decisions at the table. Hey, we're gonna hold $14,000 in escrow. That's fine. Everybody here is good with it because you need documentation for it. Everybody understand?
Thank you. I was gonna say the same. Completely fully. So Teresa, what she said was, you can't just make a decision at the table that buyer and seller hereby agree to hold money in escrow. You have to
do it all the time.
Do it.
It's always last minute. We find out at the table we're holding escrow. The worst part is if there's a lender, the lender will not allow it. Cash deals, yeah, they will. And a lot of times, it could be done on the back end. If you can try to avoid, it's sometimes you can't avoid it. You know what I mean? And that's like with a rush closing. A lot of times that's when I see escrows having to be held.
One thing I'll add is that there's a reason why we recommend one team abstract, and it's basically for two reasons. One, we are affiliated with them, we have control on some decision making. But second, we also can reach out to the team and ask for doing certain things for as an exception for like escrow. Because what she said was it's 50-50. The reason why she's saying 50-50 is that we can't do it if you're the listing side and the other side, the title company says, I'm not gonna hold it, go ask your own guy. If you're in the title side and you have some control over it, we can go and ask our team to say, can you please make an exception and do this for us? We lose that control. So it has happened so many times, an agent will come and say, well, I just use a random company that the buyer wanted me to use because they're friends with them, but they don't hold escrow. So Gaurav, can you please call another company and hold escrow? I can't.
No.
Or last minute, Gaurav, I didn't know, I just use a random title company because I've worked with them in the past. And now could you talk to them to ask them to hold escrow or make an exception or do a schedule change, or make an addendum or waive off the title, some notary fees? I can't. So, for us to be able to help when shit hits the fan, we need to be the people that we can go and call somebody, otherwise we have zero control.
So like one team isn't gonna say no to your non-title escrow issues. No title company likes to do that because of all the, I'll have to sit on an escrow for a whole year at times. It is what it is. But it's detrimental, like we really need to hold escrow. This is the only reason we're gonna this will stop our closing if we don't hold escrow. We're not gonna say no to that.
Can you also talk a little bit more about if a client comes to us with an investor?
Yeah.
And that I'm looking to buy this property, but I am not so sure if it has a lot of issues with it. Before I spend the money for inspection and appraisal, is there a way to find out if they have tons of liens and other issues? Could we request and have our buyers pay for a title search before title insurance?
Oh. In what instance are you meaning? Like
the question is that many times when investors are buying assets, they want to make sure that there's no major.
So they order a mortgage and judgment search to see if there's anything crazy on that title.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
And I don't believe, like if it's just like a random Joe on the street, I think that there's like a charge of like $250. I'm not sure. But I know if you said, listen, I need to see an M&J search, we call it an M&J search. Can you please run? We will. A lot of times if the prospective buyer wants to see this property and they're interested, we won't charge them because that will be included in the title insurance. Do you understand?
But they can't do it for everybody, walking off the street. I think there's an advantage.
Exactly.
To be able to say, hey, we are regular clients, we have a team that is strong enough, that is giving enough business. Could you make an exception? How amazing we look ourselves to the clients when we go to them saying, I will take care of this. Let me call my team and let's see if I can help you with this.
Yeah, and we could get it to you within 24 hours.
And what would be the cost for that?
So usually it's about $250. However, as a team,
Okay.
we can make some exceptions for us.
So like if you said, Teresa, hey, can you order an M&J search? I will not charge you.
No.
This actually, they did this for me a month ago. I had a listing, we weren't sure if a debt that my seller owed was going to be on the title report or not. She ran the title report for me 20 minutes later. I think you had it to me in 20 minutes, and it wasn't. It was just, here's what we have on the property, here's what we have on the seller. It was super easy, 20 minutes, and I could turn to my seller and say, we don't have to include that in your closing sheet, you're good. Thank you, by the way.
But now, like for Keller Williams agents, we don't normally charge. If it's like some random Joe, just who knows if they're crazy and they're like, yeah, we just want to run a M&J search on this, yeah, they're going to get charged.
What are the challenges that you guys see when you are doing a transaction or you're being asked a question from your clients?
I can't hear you. You gotta talk up a little. I'm old. Thanks for
What are the most challenges, the most common things that you see? You have a lot of experience.
Well, sometimes I feel like it's frustrating, when the buyer's agent doesn't order title insurance right away, like, it's confusing to me, like, I've always thought that you have to order title insurance within 15 days, is that not the case?
Is there a law that says that, Teresa, that within how many days of the agreement of sale, we have to order title?
No. Title insurance is not required.
I think our transaction management team follows up with the other side, asking them, have they ordered it? But she's right, some people just don't order it, and they usually wait. And the reason why we always follow up is they usually wait till they've done the past inspections. And, they also want to see if they're probably gonna move forward with, so they don't order title. Our job is to make sure that they do ASAP, otherwise what happens is it's gonna start ending up for delays in the end. So we don't want the transaction to be delayed.
So I have a quick horror story I could tell. Early on, when I was a brand new agent, there was a client that came in to buy a condo at City View, and a friend of mine had a title company and said, "Can you please just give me a shot?" And I was like, "Okay." And it was a really good friend of mine. It was her husband. Long story short, they didn't order title right away, we did order title right away. And even though I was new, I could tell something was wrong with the title report. There was like judgments on it, but I was so inexperienced and I didn't know. And I kept following up with the title company, like, this doesn't look right. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting nervous. And they kept telling me, no, everything's okay, everything's okay. A week before the closing, they found out that the guy who owned the place bought it at a sheriff's sale and didn't get title insurance. So
Oh, God.
it had judgments and liens on it, so needless to say, we never closed, and I never used that title company again, yeah. So have you seen that before, or is that how it works when you buy in a sheriff's sale, you don't have to get title insurance?
No, title insurance is not requirement.
Yeah,
You give them $10,000, you walk out the door.
So, this is a good point.
Yeah.
Can you, we have a few members here that are newer agents. Can you explain a script to us? If a buyer says to us, title insurance is a scam, I don't want to buy it, I'm paying cash, don't tell me to buy insurance, I'm gonna save money. What would you say to that?
I would say to them, well, guess what? Some crazy mortgage back from 1982 might pop up, and that is your responsibility. You will be responsible for that. You will be responsible for any liens attached to this property. You will be responsible for inheritance taxes. I mean, I had a deal when I was at my old awful company, and the woman bought the property through sheriff's sale. She did not get title insurance when she bought it, obviously, because it was from a sheriff. A lot of times I've seen it maybe 5 out of 10 times where people have gotten a sheriff's sale property and insured it. And that was the right thing to do. So when she was selling, I had to collect for inheritance taxes for who it was foreclosed on. And she's like, I don't even know the guy. How did I inherit the property? And I was like, I get it, but this is the law. Like, PA don't care. They want their taxes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the nightmare if an owner does not want it. I mean, I get it if it's family member to family member, you know what's on that line. And you can't use another person's owner's policy either. It has to be current. You can't use, oh, well, I bought the house for my brother for $1. I can't use his title insurance. It's not transferable.
And not for nothing, but your transaction department cannot get you those payoffs, and they cannot get you an inheritance tax payoff. That's something that is going to be on your seller, and the seller's going to have to work with a lawyer to get those. So I've gone back as far as 1986 to try to get a payoff for somebody from Wachovia Bank. I don't know if you guys remember that. And that took me about 3 weeks, and I spoke to well over a dozen people, and we still didn't get it.
Another point to make also is that you still need things to be recorded. You can make a deal on the table with somebody, I'm gonna buy your property for this price, I'll pay you cash. Things still have to be recorded, a deed still has to be prepared, an alter, if an agent is involved, all those things have to be done. Who's doing all those stuff? We don't make those documents. I'm not an attorney, we're not an attorney, so either you're gonna hire an attorney for $3,000, and then there's no guarantee from that. There's nobody, the attorney's not gonna give you title insurance. So remind them, it's like, who's doing all those things? The title company does a lot of those things. What else you guys think?
So what are you trying to get at with that?
What was the question? What was the question, Lisa?
I said, where are you going with that aspect? Because you were saying we're not attorneys, no, but our underwriters are.
No, what I'm saying is I'm defending as an agent. As an agent, we are not attorneys, but the title company has access to the attorneys and support to be able to do that. When I say we, it's not title company, it's the realtors.
Right,
So we do need support either but also the title company has, she's right, they have attorneys that they refer to and saying, if this is happening, how do you make sure the buyer is protected? You get access to that as well.
well, that's where, I mean, the title company, like, if you're in the business for a long time, Morgan knows, like, you do know the ins and outs and how to go, and when you need to go to that underwriter who is a licensed attorney. And the nice thing about me being in Trevos, I have access to our attorneys that are like our managers and such. So everybody like kind of works off of one another for instances, like crazy horror stories, like, oh my God, what do I do? So that's when you do lean on the title company. And I personally, if you call me or anybody on our team, I cannot give legal advice at all, which, because I'm not a lawyer and I could get sued by an attorney. But I could tell you verbatim what an attorney has told me in reference to your transaction.
Does anyone on the Zoom have a question? Anyone who's with us virtually?
Anyone in the spirit world?
All right, well, if not, then I think we can kind of close that here and get into our trivia and costume contests. Thank you so much, Teresa, for sharing your wisdom with us. I feel like that's what horror stories are for, inform people. And
Well, if you ever have questions.